ourselves inspired by the mission of Viksit Bharat that we all hope we say. And thank you to all the organizers, especially Sunita ji, Vinita ji, Nirav ji. Thank you very much for making this happen. First of all, also an apology to all. I was not able to make it yesterday. I had some other event to attend, so my apologies. Start with, I'm then will stick to the PowerPoint. Thanks to Microsoft for creating the system of this. What I'm going to talk about is Anvikshiki as Prathama Vidya for corporate leaders. But first of all, gratitude to my teacher, my guide, my mentor, elder brother, Dr. Radhakrishnan Patel. Because of him, this conference was designed. He was the one who actually initiated the thought of having this conference. Unfortunately, he is not with us. He's doing some better work somewhere, and I'm sure he's still teaching, preaching there as well, wherever he is. So, gratitude to Shiki before. So there are some people sitting in the first row. Because यहाँ पे ध्यान मत देना आप लोग, वो सब मुझे भी सीखना वहाँ से. So Anvikshiki is a word which is why in fact it is called the Prathama Vidya. That is what we're talking of, and I'll just bring up to all of you. But then before that, where does this come from? It comes from a reference of Kautilya Shastra, which is written by Kautilya Shastra is written by I request all the scholars and learned people not to share. I would want to interact more with the students because they are the ones whom we would want this conference to be. That would have Dr. Patel always said, बच्चों को ध्यान में रख के बातें करो. So I would request all of you to interact. I'd like to listen from all of you there. So how many of you have heard of Chanakya? Okay, great. Oh, almost there. 70-75%. ठीक है, so I'm not going to go much waste time in terms of who he was, what he did, So quickly, known by three names, Vishnugupta, Kautilya and Chanakya. I might accidentally say one of the other names, subconsciously aa jata hai. Known by three different names, but the same person we are talking of. Vishnugupta is a given name, Aadhaar card, passport pe sab Vishnugupta likha hua tha, birth certificate said Vishnugupta. Kautilya happened as his scholarly name, so Kautilya Gotra is what he came from, and that is why the name Kautilya comes in. Kautilya's Arthashastra, what we say. And Chanakya is a claim to fame name. So, Chanakya kaisi baatein karta hai, Chanakya. It comes in because of his father. Chanaka Putra Chanakya. His father's name was Chanak. Was also an Acharya. Acharya means? How many of you know the difference between a Shikshak, an Acharya, a Kula Guru, and a Guru? From there, students. Yes, you know? Can you share quickly? Can you get the mic, please? Do you have a mic? Okay. So we'll come to that. But then, by the time she gets the mic, I'm going to give you a quick run through. History ka class nahi hai, but just the man who vowed to pull down the Nanda dynasty. We all know that. Shikha nahi bandunga, jab tak usko giraunga nahi. That story is known to everyone. I'm not spending time on that. He made Chandragupta Maurya his own student king, so he's also known as the kingmaker, people talk of. Responsible for defeat of Alexander in India. When Alexander was out to conquer the world, we stopped him. बहुत लोग बातें नहीं करते हैं, but then you should look at a History Channel's documentary called Alexander, or also read some books on Alexander's past. You'll understand how the Chanakya's theory or Chanakya's strategies helped in terms of defeating him and sending him back. From there, Ashoka, India's first global emperor, we talk of his is Chandragupta Maurya's grandson, Chandragupta Maurya's son, Bindusara's son is Ashoka. And then finally, the man who not only achieved things in life but also documented it, he wrote it down, and he created history through that by writing Kautilya's Arthashastra, Chanakya Niti, and Chanakya Sutrani or Praniti Sutras, as we say. So three different texts. Quickly, Chanakya Arthashastra, which we talk of, right there, 15 books, 150 chapters, 180 sections, 6,000 sutras. भगवद गीता में कितने श्लोक हैं? Students. भगवद गीता में कितने श्लोक हैं? 700, right? Okay, so we are looking at 6,000 sutras here when it comes to Kautilya Arthashastra. Chanakya Niti, again 17 chapters, 455, very well known, claim to fame. हर railway station पे book stop पे मिल जाएगा. One sitting, right? Please do it. You can just go through it. Kautilya Arthashastra written more as a Rajaniti Shastra for the prince who's going to become the king. So it's more of a text which basically teaches him a prince, or basically I would call it a training manual, which is there for the prince who is going to become the king. So that's a Rajaniti Shastra, book on leadership development, I say. Chanakya Niti is more on Prajaniti, so how people should behave, how the society should be, how father and son relation should be, how husband and wife relationship should be. He talks of more of the Praja. And then Chanakya Sutrani are more of sutras, one-liners, Sukhasya Mulam Dharma, starts with that. Dharmasya Mulam Artha. So Sukhi hona hai to dharma se chalo, lekin dharma palan karna hai to pehle artha chahiye. So we'll come into that, but then the question, the Chanakya Sutrani is what he wrote, 571 sutras there as well, written in 4th century BC. We're talking today in 2026, so we're talking of around 2,400, 500 years from now is when all this happened. This is Kautilya Shastras, one of the copy on palm leaves available in Oriental Library, Mysore. Anyone visiting Mysore, please do visit. You can actually go and see it. Known for different things, book on Artha Shastra, as we say, Rajaniti Shastra, Dandaniti Shastra, Yuddha Niti, and strategy as in Anvikshiki, which we are going to talk about or discuss today. Does she have the mic? She has the mic. We're talking of, she was going to tell me. Shikshak, kaun bata raha tha? Okay, anyone? Difference between Shikshak, Adhyapak, kaun hai? Okay, search, Google, ChatGPT. We'll come to that. Okay, let's go on to the topic. I'm quickly running onto this background because we come to our main topic, which I'm going to talk about today. So here it is, Anvikshiki. How many of you are listening to this word for the first time? Whoa, okay. Okay, great. Thank you very much for bringing me here and letting this happen. Dr. Patel loved the word so much that we named our company as Chanakya Anvikshiki Private Limited. Not only that, he named his daughter as Anvikshiki. So there is one girl who has a unique name in her school as well. Everyone says, "Kya naam hai?" Anvikshiki. But then now everyone has learned that word in her school as well. So Anvikshiki is something which she really loved to that extent. Prathama Vidya. Why do we say it's a Prathama Vidya? Because when we read Kautilya Arthashastra, as I showed in the previous slide, 15 books is what Kautilya Arthashastra is divided into. Out of that, the first book is an index. Right? The second book starts, I would say the first chapter is an index. The second chapter starts with the sutras, and that's when this first sutra comes in. So 1.2.1, and I say is as in it means book number 1, chapter number 2, sutra number 1. So that's how it is referred to. The first sutra, as in starts here. It says Anvikshiki Trayivata Dandaniti Sheti Vidya Chatastra Eva Vidya iti Kautilya. So Anvikshiki as in the first knowledge. And then Kautilya Shastra starts. It's the first. In the first book, he talks about leadership development. What a leader should learn. What are the topics? Vidya Samudeshaha is the name of the book. So he talks of that in terms of what the leader needs to be taught. And if a leader needs to be taught, is his first thing which a leader needs to be taught is Anvikshiki. Right? So that is why the word Anvikshiki, and we say that it is Prathama Vidya. But what is this Anvikshiki is what always comes to mind. Right? So let's first break it up. Break it up. Sandhi karte hain. Not the literal meaning for people, but for people who are listening, the name for the first time, we'll just put it this way: Anu plus Ikshiki. Anu as in atom, the smallest spot which we see. Chote se chote se. And Ikshiki as in curiosity. Right? So someone who is interested or who looks at things with the smallest of detail. Right? Micromanagement nahi hota hai, but micro thinking hota hai. A leader should be able to think of the microest things. Not necessarily he has to go and manage it, but has to think about it. That is why leaders, we say, has something called as Garuda Drishti. What is Garuda Drishti? Anyone? Garuda? Garuda kya hota hai? I can't hear it. Laga hua hai. Eagle. Okay, so eagle's eye view. What is eagle's eye view or a bird's eye view? Sees everything. Yes. What else? Bird's eye view kya hota hai? Come on, guys. IMI ka students. I had a good breakfast. Come on. IMI.
Something you watch in a much detailed way.
Something
You watch in a much detailed way.
Where are you? I can't see you. Oh, there.
Something you watch in a detailed way.
Something you watch in a detailed
From
way.
the farthest view.
From the farthest view. Alright, so how does eagle fly? Where does eagle fly? Highest. Right? But when if eagle has to eat, it's hungry, क्या करेगा वो? It'll come down, catch the smallest worm and go and fly back. Right? So a leader who has Garuda Drishti is someone who is having a top-down view. He looks at the whole organization, has an understanding of everything. He has the vision. He gives direction to everyone. Right? But where and when, whatever required, goes down and solves the smallest of the challenge or smallest of the problem which is there at that level, and then goes back and then has. He doesn't get stuck in those small things, but always has an understanding of everything. Right? So Garuda Drishti is what we do. So Anvikshiki is someone, or when we break it up in that understanding, is someone who has that bird's eye view and has detailed understanding of things. But then this is not actually the Shastric meaning. I will more or less talking of what a way for us to remember things. So Anu, atom, smallest thing, Ikshiki as in curiosity. Now, what does Anvikshiki do? Anvikshiki talks about, it's a science of how to think. How to think, सोचना कैसे है? How many of you have been taught in your classes how to think? You've been taught what to think, right?
Yes.
Science पढ़ो, maths पढ़ो, history पढ़ो, geography पढ़ो. ये syllabus है, ये chapters है. About thinking, no one has taught us. And that's what Indian system is all about. हमारे यहाँ ये नहीं कहा जाता कि क्या सोचना है, कैसे सोचना है. And that's what Anvikshiki does. It gives us a model of thinking. So that is what Anvikshiki is. It talks about how to think, teaches us to think alternative solutions to a problem. How many sides does, like, I would say triangle has 3 sides, square has 4, pentagon has 5, hexagon has 6, octagon has 8. How many sides does a diamond have? Ladies? How many sides? A perfect diamond has how many sides? Count it. Count it. How many? How many? How many? How many? How many sides does a perfect diamond have? Google, Baba. Anyone? 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 Quick, 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 quick. क्या कहते हैं? 5G, 6G. So many women here, so many girls, ladies. Diamond खरीदते हैं तो कितनी sides होती है perfect diamond में? Someone said.
8. 6.
50? Who said?
8.
58. Okay, 58 sides. 57 sides and 1 base. Right? So 57 facets it is called and 1 base. Imagine why it is called the strongest carbon is because a carbon which can be cut from so many sides, still it doesn't break. Imagine anything which you cut from 2, 3, 4 sides, it will eventually crack or break. But a perfect diamond is a carbon which is so strong that it doesn't break. It has 58 sides. Now, that's why we say, have multi-dimensional point of view. What is multi-dimensional point of view? Looking at an issue, looking at a problem, looking at a situation from multiple different angles. Right? Be in my shoe, be in your shoe, be in someone else's shoe, be in 4-person's shoe. So diamond is something which you can see, it's from 58 different sides. I can turn around a diamond in 58 different manners and I can look at it. So have multi-dimensional view, and that's what Anvikshiki does, that you start looking at a situation, a problem, and an analytical way of thinking from multiple angles in that manner. It talks about intelligence management, artificial intelligence आ गया, data analytics आ गया, इतना सारा information. IKS में भी 2 दिन में इतना information मिला होगा आप लोगों को, करे क्या इसका, इतना सारा होगा. I feel there is a challenge which we face today is data junk. So much of data is getting generated, इसका करना क्या है वही पता नहीं. So you have to manage it somewhere. Anvikshiki gives us a model for that. We talk about that as well. And finally we say it's about psychology, it talks about how human minds think. So that's why we're talking about something which is a perpetual knowledge. It keeps going on and on and on and on for the ages. In fact, Kautilya says if you want to understand Anvikshiki, it says Sankhya Yoga Lokayata Cha Itya Anvikshiki. Right? Sankhya क्या है, Yoga क्या है, Lokayata क्या है? Quick, any one of the students? IKS students, come on. Shad darshan किसको पता है? Put up. Make mistakes, don't worry. Come on. I need to meet IMI के faculties. कुछ तो पढ़ाओ. Shad darshan. Okay, how many darshans in our Indian No,
Six.
6 or 9?
Six.
6 or 9?
Six.
Someone said 9. Said 9. Shat darshan is 6 and so Indian knowledge system, if कि हमारे Indian knowledge systems क्या है? It gets divided into 9 parts. We say, 9 philosophies which come in Indian knowledge. I'll quickly take you through. In fact, I'm not getting into that. But Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, Vedanta. These are 6 Vedic, I would say, philosophies which is there. So they are called Astikas, which believes in Vedas as the base, and then Jainism, Buddhism, and Lokaya or Charvak, as we say, are non-Vedic philosophies. So 9 darshanas. If you study these 9 philosophies, you get a holistic understanding of Indian school of thoughts. 9 Indian school of thoughts. Out of that, Kautilya says, if you have to understand Anvikshiki, you have to understand 3 philosophies, which means Sankhya, Yoga, and Lokayata. Too much of philosophy class ho jayega for management students. Quickly running through, Sankhya is basically something which looks like this. If you have to look at the Sankhya philosophy as a whole, where you talk of Purusha and Prakriti, and then Mana comes into between. What is Purusha and what is Prakriti? Purusha is the soul, and Prakriti is basically the nature which we look at. But in mota, not getting into a philosophy class with all of you, telling you Sankhya or Sankhya पे आ जाते हैं, it gives an understanding of quantification. Okay, material world में everything can be quantified. What is the time right now? What is the time right now?
11.
Good morning.
9, 10:50.
10:50. Right? 10:50 is the time. You can quantify it. 24 hours में से सुबह के इतने बजे से इतने बजे आ गया. ठीक है? How far is the airport from here?
45.
1 hour.
1 hour. How many kilometers?
29.
So there's a quantification. Anything and everything that we think of can be put in terms of Sankhya. And I'm not getting into much deeper philosophy of Sankhya because it goes beyond. But that quantifying things is the first thing which you need to understand. Anything, any issue, any problem which we have, any solution which you're looking at, or any analysis which you're doing, first thing is data analytics. Right? We all learn about data analytics in class in school. So Sankhya is mota for basic understanding right now. We put it as Sankhya. Right? That is what we do. Next, yoga. Baba Ramdev. Kitne log jante hain? Everyone knows yoga. 21st June is International Yoga Day as well. So yoga day, not yoga. I'm sorry, my mistake. Yoga day, right? What does yoga have? So we put basically in Patanjali Yoga Sutras as one of the philosophies. Ashtanga yoga comes in that. So yam, niyam, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dhairya, dhyan, samadhi is basically you look at. But then these are the 8 levels of yoga. But what happens when we follow yoga? What happens? How many of you have tried yoga? Okay, over. All those wearing blacks. Everyone in blacks, I want to hear from all of you. ये सब colorful लोग हैं इनको मुझे नहीं मिल रहा. I'm more interested in you all. What is yoga? What happens when we practice yoga? How many of you have tried it? Meditation, exactly. Good. More? Union. Alright. Union of mind, body, and soul. Anything else? Yes, please. Speak out loud. Concentration to certain point. Alright. It brings in that balanced state of mind. Sthita pragnata. Sthita pragnata. बहुत heavy word हो जाता है कभी-कभी. But then what is it? We're looking at equanimity, balance, steady mind, a balanced mind. Eventually is what we look at, right? So that is what. क्या चाहिए? कि कुछ भी हो जाए. If I have a problem, I'm still stable. I'm very happy, still I'm balanced. So I'm not very excited. I don't get disturbed. I'm balanced in a situation. I manage myself in a situation. That comes through yoga. That's for simple understanding of us. Right? So कैसे करना है, क्या करना है, वो आपको अष्टांग yoga will all that we not getting into that. But then yoga will eventually get us a balanced state of mind. Take right decisions in the right time. Whether you're in a pressure situation, right? Imagine Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Why is it called Captain Cool? Man, खड़ा है behind the stumps, right? With lakhs of people sitting in the stadium, so much of floodlights all on him, all cameras pointing at him, and crores of people watching him, right? Even if he like scratches his nose, the whole world is going to say, "Hey, Dhoni ने नाक में उंगली डाला है." होता क्या होता है? Imagine the amount of pressure, and at that point of time, he has to take a decision कि किसको bowling देना है या fielding कैसे set करना है, and still he stays cool and calm, balanced. That's why Captain Cool. Right? So that is what we talk of when you talk of someone who is a balanced state of mind, and yoga somewhere helps in bringing that. And finally, Lokayat, Sankhya Yoga, Lokayat, Anvikshiki. Lokayat is a philosophy. Charvak, as someone mentioned, Charvak Muni gave us that philosophy. A very materialistic driven philosophy. A lot of people say that वो sarcastically कहा गया है, but then somewhere I also like that philosophy. Simple बोलता हूँ. अपने यहाँ क्या पता है? आज करे सो कल कर, कल करे सो परसों. ऐसी भी क्या जल्दी है, जीना है जब बरसों. Right? बरसों नहीं, हमारे तो एक ये जन्म में नहीं हुआ तो अगले जन्म में हो जाएगा. You know, procrastination to like another level altogether. Whereas people in the West, they believe एक ही life है. Right? This is life, and this is my bucket list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to. Time कम है, achieve करना ज़्यादा है. हमारे यहाँ achieve कुछ करना नहीं है, time ही time है. Right? And that is why our country also says that होता है, चलता है, होने दो, चलने दो. Right? So that is why I like the West for that matter. You know, no life after. You know, ये जो है वो अभी करके जाना है. हमारे बोलते हैं मोक्ष है. ठीक है, अगले जन्म में ले लेंगे. ऐसा क्या है? You know? No, but so Lokayat somewhere is a philosophy which says that no life after that. It doesn't believe in God. Nature is God. Right? Prakriti ही भगवान है in that sense. Right? It gets into sensual indulgence. Religion is invented by man, is what Charvak says in that sense. And obviously we talk of Abrahamic religions and things like that at some point of time. But then that is what Charvak says, is very materialistically driven philosophy and believes in execution and in terms of achieving goals and results in that sense. So that is what I would say Lokayat is all about. Now, putting this two together becomes Sankhya Yoga Lokayat Chaitya. Anvikshiki becomes Sankhya plus Yoga plus Lokayat. अगर तीन को साथ में डालना है, ठीक है, तीन को साथ में डाल के क्या मिलने वाला है, इस पे बातें करते हैं. एक सूत्र है जो आता है, प्रत्यक्ष परोक्षे नुना प्रत्यक्ष परोक्षानुमेय ही राजवृत्ति. A leader thinks with three things. Right? Anyone thinks with in the three manners. Knowledge, information comes to us in three manners. What are these three? First one, pratyaksha. What is pratyaksha? Something in front of me, right? I can see there is fire. It's in front of me. Right? Paroksha. Someone comes to me and says, "Sir, aag lagi hai." I am not seeing it, but paroksha. I get secondary source of information. Someone comes in, and third is anumeya. What is anumeya? Anumana. I see smoke. I see people running. And I am making that guesswork. लोग भाग रहे हैं, धुआं निकल रहा है तो आग लगी है. That is anumana. It is not guesswork, but it is somewhere putting that, joining the dots, as we say, putting logic. So anumana. And Anvikshiki is more of an anumana vidya. What is anumana vidya? It helps us understand things which might not be happening in front of us. Right? Have you experienced these things? A lot of times you all feel कि मेरे को बस feel आ रही है.
Yes.
Vibes आ रहे हैं. What is this vibes are feel that it's something which we cannot understand. At times it is the metaphysical level beyond our understanding. We say I can sense it, right? And I can make a guess कि ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है. That is what is anumana vidya all about. And Anvikshiki is anumana vidya. Right? So Anvikshiki again, Sankhya plus Yoga plus Yoga. So Sankhya is basically quantification of everything. Yoga as in having that balanced state of mind. And Lokayat is in terms of making it happen or achieving it. इसी जन्म में करना है जो करना है वो. I love Modi ji for this. BJP is facing a different problem these days. I